This is Guitarist Denis Taaffe, and I want to welcome you to Bargain Bin Amps. And this time around we're going to look at a very special amp, and basically it's the BlackStar HT Club tube amp. It's a 2-channel tube amp with reverb. It's a closed back 112 combo amp. Has a Celestion, I think it's a 7080 speaker in it, 16 ohm speaker. And well, the way this happened, this is a used one, and I actually haven't purchased it yet. However, I was in my one of my favorite music stores, Vance Music, in Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm always on the lookout for kind of used amps and different kinds and that kind of thing. And recently I had run across a Fender Deluxe Reverb all-tube combo amp, and that particular amp, sounded very Fendery, of course, and had something like 10 tubes in it. So I've always considered the amp a little fragile, because if one of those tubes goes, that's it. You can't use it, and you have to replace that tube and so on. So for me, really, less amount of tubes the better. And still get that tube sound. Well, this amp showed up, and I'll show it to you here in a second. And it only has four tubes, 2 power tubes and 2 preamp tubes. Now BlackStar is an English company, and I know that it has EL34s in a closed back configuration, so it's probably more similar to a Marshall than it would be to a Fender sound, but still give you that warm sound. Now I played it in the store, and whereas the Fender Deluxe Reverb used is about $750, which is quite a bit, I think. The BlackStar used is about $400, and I tried it in the store, as I said. My goodness, it must be a very loud amp, because I had it on one and it was already, pretty darn loud, but super clean sound. Now, I don't know, for those who aren't really familiar with BlackStar, as I said, it's a UK-based company, and so it was built in the United Kingdom. And early on they had these little anniversary amps, and they were little tube amps. And what I loved about them is that they only had like 2 tubes or something. The problem was they were just darn too small and just not loud enough to play with, really. And plus they had little 10-inch speakers, one 10-inch speaker and so on. But I really liked the sound of those. Unfortunately, they're about, $379 or something. It's almost $400 for an amp that you couldn't really, play live with, very well, unless it was a tiny little space. I still like those amps, though. I like the sound of them. So when I saw this thing, I was thrilled. I was, immediately drawn to it, especially because it was used, and so it's, has some wear and tear on it and things, but the price was right, certainly. And they would let me make payments on it, so $100 a month for 4 months. So definitely worthy of consideration, And I've got quite a few amps, so depending on, if it works out for me or not, I might sell some of my other amps, that this amp could replace easily. And what I'm thinking is, and as I don't know if people know this, but I really like hybrid amps, where it's kind of a combination of tube amp and solid state amp. I haven't read up on this, but I think, while it is a tube amp, I think it does have some kind of a hybrid, maybe preamp section in it or something like that. Though it does have a couple of preamp tubes. So, we'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. What's really nice is they let me take it home to try it. And that'll tell me everything that I need to know, I guess. But it'd be very nice. And what I'm hoping from this amp is that it gives me that tube sound, that I'm looking for, especially on the clean channel, though I think it's got a really great distortion channel as well. We'll see. Without, the amount of tubes. Now, it's a pretty darn big amp, too, and, weight of the amp comes into play, too. If it's such a big amp, which this one is pretty darn big for just a 112 combo amp, that it doesn't weigh so much that you can't even move it around. And I can tell you right now, it's right at the limit of what I would consider acceptable. I always think back to the Fender Twin amp, which is, a 2x12 tube amp, and it was so heavy, you couldn't move it very easily at all. I mean, just from my car to my studio room, which is not that far, was very difficult because of the weight of it. Alright, so here it is. Let's take a look at it. Oh, and by the way, as a bonus, this one comes with a padded BlackStar bag, right, to protect the amp, and foot switch, right, which changes the channel and turns the reverb on and off. So a pretty straight ahead amplifier with real basic features, but exactly what you need. Alright, let's take a look at it. Here it is. And as you can tell, I mean, this is a big amp here. So there's the cover. So let's take the cover off. And yeah, that's a padded cover, which is very nice. Here it is. There it is. Really good looking amp, I think. HT Club 40. And there it is. If we go along the front here, right, input jack, clean, it's got volume and tone. And then it also have right here a digital kind of voice thing to get different sounds. And I don't know what that does. We'll find out. Then channel select to your overdrive, basically your distortion channel. And here you've got 3-band EQ, right here. That's normal, bass, middle, and treble. However, notice right here this ISP knob, and that basically can give you, from what I understand, a more English tone to the left here, I think, and to the right it becomes more of an American sounding amp. So we'll mess with that too and find out what that really does. Then just a reverb and a master volume and a power and a standby. Now, before we get to the back, notice it's a little, it's got some scuff marks and things. Handle's in good shape though. And here's one downfall. They've obviously somebody has taken off the BlackStar logo, and so instead they just put a sticker. a BlackStar sticker. So I'm hoping that online maybe I can find, you know, the original logo that was supposed to be there and put it back on. And here it's got a little purple line down here, just makes it look kind of nice, you know. And then right here there's a, you know, a speaker shell or speaker grill, I mean. And it's pretty tough here, you know. It's got some scuff marks and things, but that's okay. Okay, and let's go around to the back. Now here you go, this is awesome. There, if you take a look at that, you know, if you really wanted to, I guess you could remove that back panel, you know. Whereas here it's kind of this closed back cabinet, except it's got a grill here, so it's kind of a semi closed back, if you like. And there's that Celestion 7080 speaker, I think it is. Or it's actually, oh, I'm wrong, it's just a Celestion 80 speaker. Okay, in any case, here you got power, of course, a fuse, and here is connecting the speaker. It's a 16 ohm speaker, and what's really nice is right here you have two extension speaker jacks. One is 8 ohm and two is 16. So, you know, if you wanted to add extension speakers and so on. And then from there, what else do we have here? Emulated output. Very nice for direct recording, so that must have some kind of speaker emulation. And then reverb. You have a choice of dark or light, which is really surprising. It's on the back of the amp here. Where is that? Right there. Reverb, dark or light. And here you've got an effects loop. Just simple, straightforward, you know, send and return. Right? And then you've got a level here, +4 and -10. And lastly, a foot switch jack. And we actually do have the foot switch with it. It's right here. You know, just simple channel reverb. And then also came with a power cable. So there you go. $400. It's a, oh, the Celestion, it says, is a 1780 Celestion speaker. Okay, that's what it says on the card here. And then that's it. Perfect for gigging, they say. Well, this thing is a big amp. And it's really at the limits of what you could carry. So it's pretty heavy. But it's not crazy heavy for what it is. And I think it's a really solid amp. We'll find out here shortly, you know. I've got it for one evening, and then I have to decide, you know, if that's something I want to pursue or not. If I want to buy it or not. $100 a month. And it definitely has some hybrid, you know, kind of solid state things going on here with that voice switch and those kinds of things. And yet it's a tube amp as well. And those are some of my favorite amps, are the hybrid type amps. So I'm going to hook it up and take it through its paces. And if it works out, I'll definitely be using it. On my next album, I'm working on a volume 322, you know, so I might use this amp to record with it, depending on, you know, if it works out or not. Alright, so I'll see you soon when I get it hooked up in the studio. So here you go, I've got it set up over here. It's on a stand, and the problem is I had amps behind it, but it's shaking them, and so especially on low notes you can hear all that rattling of the amps behind it. You know, obviously I should move those. And I think I had the master volume on 4 maybe, you know, but I had the gain down really low too, you know, to get the sound I wanted. I suppose you could boost the level up if you really needed to, but it's definitely, if you're playing with a drummer or something, it's definitely very, very loud. But for me, it served my purposes because it was doing the clean sound. last chord is from the Miracle Mile. I don't know if you recognize it or not, but it's when he's in the hotel smoking and flicks the cigarette out, I think. Anyway. Okay, so I've gotten the BlackStar HT Club 40 hooked up, and I played around with it, and it's a really simple amp. In fact, I'm basically using it in conjunction with my pedal board, which allows delays and things like that, and loops and so on. One is a very loud amp, but very clean and very basic. And I was really surprised. Yeah, even on the lead channel, you know, definitely very easy to get kind of a rock sound. And I guess I can show you that right here. And you can kind of hear it here. It's kind of Okay, now here are my thoughts about the amp. One thing is that basically I was shocked to discover that the clean channel has no EQ, and that EQ section is only for the distorted channel, surprisingly enough. I thought, well, that must be a deal breaker, but it's not. You don't really need the EQ with this amp. And the reason is you have a digital voice button. And basically you get a Class A or Class AB. And basically the difference is that one of them gives you that kind of, you know, if you push it hard, it gives you that tube overdrive. Okay? Whereas the other one is super clean, and you can't overdrive the amp really, and it just stays super clean, which is what I wanted for my purposes, you know, because I'm doing a lot of clean guitar, using my pedal board right into the amp, and it worked really well for that. The other thing is I had to keep the gain on the clean channel down, and there's a tone button there instead of an EQ, which is basically an EQ. And there I had to bring that down to kind of a halfway point. But it worked really great. It worked. I did, in fact, some recording with it, and I can play you some of it now. This will probably be on my next album, Volume 322. Yeah. And you can take a listen to it here a little bit. This is my monitors come on. Here we go. Now this is in combination with an Albion amp. And I did some recording with it. very loud and clean, but super basic. I mean, there's no frills whatsoever, you know. Highly recommended, though, you know, if you're looking for just a basic amp, you know. I read up more on it, and it's actually made in Korea, even though it's a UK company, BlackStar. And that closed back cabinet really makes a huge difference. I think it's probably by far the loudest amp I have. You know, it's but very clean too, and just, yeah, super basic, but gives you a really nice clean sound. And for my purposes, it just wasn't very hard to dial in the sound, you know. It took maybe 2 or 3 minutes. There's just not much to it, you know. After playing with the BlackStar HT Club 40, here are my thoughts. One, it's a beast of an amp. I mean, this thing is super loud, first of all, and it has quite an extensive distortion channel, you know, which is fun to play with. For my particular needs, I'm really concentrating on the clean channel at the moment. And what I discovered is that clean channel is very, very minimal. There's a 3-band EQ and an ISP switch. It's like this infinity space something. It basically makes it sound like a British or American amp. Distorted, on the distorted channel. However, those things, the EQ and the distortion channel, don't apply to the clean channel at all. Interestingly enough. And, oh, by the way, on the ISP, I was totally wrong. If you take it to the right, that's the American. Take it to the left, that's the British. So I think I had it switched around. So the clean channel basically is even more simple. It basically has a gain input. It has a tone potentiometer, and that's kind of your EQ. And then the reverb and the master, and that's it. Oh, and it also has a switch for class A or class AB. And the class A is where, like a traditional tube amp, you push it hard, it starts to overdrive. And I believe that class AB is where it's clean, no matter how hard you push it on there. And I could have those switched around, I'm not sure whether it's class AB or class A, one of those two. In any case, and then on the back there's a reverb switch, and it's for dark or basically not dark, reverb, because it's a digital reverb. Okay, and here's what I found. Now that I've actually played with it and recorded with it, I get a much broader perspective on this amp. And it's very different than what I thought it was. Here I'm not using the distortion channel at all, so it's just the clean channel. And it is fantastic. I mean, it gives you the tube sound with a lot of volume. I mean, it's probably one of the loudest amps that I've played with here. Very, very loud. And it doesn't have to be, you can turn it down, of course. And dynamics and things. It is the cleanest amp I've come across, I mean, what you put in is what you get out, and it's super clean. Very, very, very impressive, very quiet. Yeah, the more I play this amp, the more I like it. And for $400, it'd be hard to find really a better amp for this kind of thing, I'm using it here for recording, but also for live use. And, when I'm playing in the studio, I'm playing live in the studio, if you like. And it's just a really big sound. I mean, the other thing is, I also found it can be really bright if you want it to be. For my purposes, I play pretty soft type stuff, so I really bring the tone down to a little less than halfway. But you can crank it up, and as you do, it gets brighter and things. And I suppose that's for different styles, country or that kind of thing. To give you the impression of the amp, it's really, you don't realize it at first that most amps struggle to give you this kind of clarity. And this thing, it doesn't even think about it twice, I'm really, really impressed with it. For a 1x12 combo, it's unbelievable, really. It's a very, very good clean channel. It may not have the sparkliness of a Fender, really, but it's pretty darn close. But what it doesn't do in sparkliness, it does in clarity. You know, I mean, it is a really clean amp, a really nice bass response and things. It's just a joy to play. You know, I mean, I took it home to try it, and I've kept it an extra day. You know, and the more I play it, the more I like it. So I think I may be keeping this amp because it really is fantastic, and I don't remember having quite as clear of a sound from an amplifier as this, especially at you know, live levels, if you like. You know, that doesn't mean, you know, ear splittingly loud. I mean, you could do that with this amp easily. But I'm just talking in a comfortable, you know, live volume. It is just perfect for that. You know, so if you run across one of these, I highly, highly recommend it. You know, and I put it right up there with the Fender Deluxe Reverb, you know, which is a more expensive amp, and in some ways the BlackStar is really, depending on what your needs are, is a better amp, really. I mean, I like them both, I guess, but remember the BlackStar used is, you know, $400. Yeah. All right. So I'll see you next time here on Bargain Bin Amps. Thanks. Bye.